If you're struggling with knee soreness after running, or let's say you develop some knee soreness at some point later in your run, I'm going to explain runner's knee and how to fix it. This video was inspired by a patient that I worked with sometime last year where he was struggling with training for his half marathon, and around the 7 to 10 mile mark he would start to develop knee pain that basically resulted in him not being able to complete his long runs, which was a problem for his half marathon training. And the fix for him was something that I run a lot of patients through, and it's a very common thing that we do here at Valiant PT as we're working with runners that are struggling with knee pain. So the most common cause for knee pain with running in a newbie runner is overstriding with a low cadence. Okay, so overstriding basically means as you're running, as you're swinging your leg through, you are reaching really far in front of you, and then your foot hits the ground, and then you move into the stance phase of the gait. Cadence is the number of times that your foot hits the ground in a minute, and this basically means that you're taking really long, reachy steps, and you're not moving your feet fast enough. This doesn't necessarily mean you need to run faster. It just means that you need to take shorter steps, which then ties right into how to fix it. Conceptually, the thing to think about is to run with short, quick steps. I want to be very clear with what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that you need to run faster. I'm saying that at whatever speed you're running, you need to be taking shorter steps. So tying into this cadence concept, it is often really helpful to increase your cadence above 165 if it's below that number. So the first thing to do when looking at increasing your cadence is to figure out what is your cadence. Your fitness watch will tell you, your phone will tell you. If you don't have any of that technology that can give you a number like that, you can basically pick a leg as you're running, count the number of times that foot hits the ground in 30 seconds, and then multiply that number by 4, and then you will get your cadence. It's important to record the speed or pace that you're measuring your cadence at, because we're going to want to keep the speed variable the same and then manipulate the cadence and by bringing it up. So in this next section, I'm going to show you the difference between the before and after video of this patient that I was talking about. He started at a cadence of 144 steps per minute, and by the time we got him ready for his race, he was at 188 steps per minute, which that jump in itself is too high. We went step by step and never increased his self-selected cadence by more than 10%. So we went in increments. We waited from 144 to like 160, and then until he acclimated to that, then we increased it from there, and he ended up settling in at 188, and he was able to run his half marathon without any knee pain. So check out this next section and see the before and after of a runner who was running and check out this runner who was overstriding with a low cadence, and then we cued him on running with short, quick steps and got his cadence well above 165 and into the 180s to successfully complete a half marathon without knee pain. Okay, so now we're going to look at a runner that I treated on working on his cadence and his stride length. Okay, so I'm just going to let this video play, and we're going to watch his run first. So the speed of his treadmill running is 5.3 miles per hour, and I measured his cadence to be at 144 steps per minute on eval. Okay, so I'm going to let this play a little bit slower. We're just going to kind of watch it. Okay. So let's look at his right leg here. He swings his leg through, and then when his foot hits the ground, maybe about there or so. Okay, now we can start taking some measurements, looking at some angles. I can take a measure of his knee. Okay, and then I can look at his overstride. So I have that red line being right at the front of his hip, and then the angle of his knee. So in a perfect world, we'd have a knee angle less than 160 degrees. So basically meaning that there's more of a knee bend here. Okay, and then in a perfect world that his heel would be touching the red line. Okay, now let's look at his gait after months of treatment. Okay, now we're going to look at post-treatment running. Now what we can see here is his strides are much quicker. He's taken short, quick steps. Okay, I'm going to let that play again. He's taken short, quick steps. Now let's look at this by scrubbing. So as he swings his leg through, his foot goes down. He swings his leg through, his foot goes down. Swings his leg through, foot goes down. Let's look at this next one. His foot goes down, okay? So from this point, we're going to look at the knee bend. He's got a much nicer knee bend there, 156, so less than one. Let me move that back just a smidge. Okay, so that red line is the front of his hip going straight down, and then we see the amount of knee bend here is less than 160, which we're happy about. So this is a much better shape to hit the ground than the previous one. And now we're going to compare them both side to side. Okay, so on the right is going to be after treatment, and then on the left is going to be before treatment. So I'm just going to let this play, and we can see how slowly he's moving his legs. And I want to note that the treadmill speed is the same for both of these. Okay, compared to this one. Okay, so if I let those both play at the same time. Okay, so just a reminder that the treadmill speed is the same for both of these runs, okay? And then if we look at the shape of the leg when it hits the ground for each of these, okay? Don't worry about the foot too much. A lot of people get caught up in the foot, but we're gonna ignore the foot for today. Okay, and then again, I like less than 160 for the knee bend. And that's kind of where we're at on this one. And then this red line, we want to be as close to, we want the foot to be as close to this red line as possible. So on the left is before, on the right is afterwards. We can see that afterwards, after working on cadence, we have more of a knee bend when the foot hits the ground, and we have a shorter stride. The foot lands closer to that red line. So what's on the right side is closer to what we want, and that can be achieved by increasing the cadence. The cadence on the left side of the screen was 144, and the cadence on the right side of the screen ended up being 188. And the speed of the treadmill was the same for both of these at 5.3. If you're struggling with knee pain while running and you haven't tried increasing your cadence or thinking about running with short, quick steps, this is my #1 tip for you and something I would encourage you to try out on your own. If you found this video helpful, drop it a like. If you think somebody else would find this video helpful, make sure you send it over to them. Thanks for watching.